through the jungle. So I'm not surprised to see so many jungle bans coming through already. We've seen Impaler pick Nunu quite a bit when it's up, and he hasn't really had a great showing on it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring out and if he can be that carry for his team.
Now have a look at the quick bans coming out now. MnM banning out the Zac and the Talia, which we just saw in the last game for the side of Enclave. Not quite as successful, but they don't want to deal with it right now. As we see Azir and Jarvan taken away by War. Going to be an interesting one now. Did they look to try and maybe first pick the Sejuani, or is Sejuani going to be last banned? Is the Galio taken away as well?
Yeah, just trying to make sure that they can get the comfort picks away from Tivity in the mid lane and ensure that they've got ways of working through this early game. Wind and Rain will be looking to solidify this win. As we're saying, you saw Misfits and Excel in around that 27 to 28 minute mark able to shut this game down, and now they're going to be looking to do so again. They have actually picked up the Nunu as their first pick. That was still open, but prioritizing that over the Sejuani, which is something that we haven't seen a lot of teams do.
Yeah, Sejuani getting taken over, or passed over, if you like, in favor of the Nunu. Like you said earlier, definitely something that teams have not been gravitating towards. Sejuani does find her home, though, in MnM Gaming as they look to try and give that one over to Impaler, former LCS jungler, as he tries to try and keep this team up and going. But Varus, the last pick on this rotation as well, but I think that the Nunu can be one of the most irritating picks in the game, and still an exceptionally strong jungler.
Yeah, it is, but that's why they are looking to take away that Varus, because Varus is one of the few AD carries that benefits from both the AP scaling and the attack speed scaling. So being able to secure that for themselves is a big pick away that Wind and Rain would have liked to get their hands on. They are going to be going for the Camille in the top lane, though, which means that they will be looking to try and get their split push underway. Having that Nunu there as well means that they can very quickly start to take down these towers if left alone. But we'll be looking towards Rift to see if he can secure that lead for himself on the top side of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely that Camille hasn't been exactly the most dominant pick today so far. Definitely seen it be countered and dealt with in various different ways. But Ashe picked up there for Matty. He's going to have that one pretty much in the bot lane for him to go up against that Varus. And Varus and Ashe, very similar champions, do very similar things. Just Varus has a little bit more lethality, whereas Ashe does a little bit more crit.
Yeah, we're kind of going back towards that not the lethality, even that very different style of AD carry where we're going for the utility picks. Yes, Varus does have a lot of damage, but definitely Ashe and Varus were at the prime pickings when we were going back towards that meta. Now that we're seeing the fall away from Relic Shield in that bottom lane, this is what we're kind of reverting to now. Although we are still on the tournament realm, so we haven't quite hit that patch. Oh no, sorry, we are actually 8.2. Yeah, we are on the patch, sorry, where we've now taken the Relic Shields out of the phase. This is why we're seeing them tend towards more of these utility style AD carries again.
Now we see Aurelion Sol taking away Malphite, who we saw do so well against the Camille in the last game, taken away as well by Wind and Rain. MnM have to try and give something to go against this Camille, and I don't think a Gangplank will do the job, and they don't want to be forced into that option either. Only Angel definitely doesn't want to have a long scaling game ahead of him, and just not fun for anybody. As Zilean taken off the table, they're just trying to secure that mid lane bans.
Yeah, ideally they just want to try and get Rift on this Camille into a comfortable matchup, just so then he can be that split push pressure that they need. And that's why we're seeing the Gangplank and the Malphite ban away, because the Gangplank, yes, he struggles in the early stages of the game, but as it starts to progress on, he becomes very difficult. He has that wave clear, has that kill pressure as well, and the utility of that ultimate too makes him a very potent laner in a lot of situations. They are going to ban it away though. We are going to see the Zilean, as we're saying as well, much more of a niche pick towards that mid lane to try and keep the AD carry safe and make sure that you can have that, not only the wave clear, but to ensure that if any dive potential comes through, you also have the security of that ultimate. We've now seen the Poppy actually swap hands as well. I thought this was more or less going to be a no org only pick, but will be secured for only Angel in the top lane to deal with Rift.
We see now, looks like Godbro going to be picking up the Echo as well, and maybe the Bard. I am such a fan of Bard in all his different whimsical ways, because he is the most annoying laning support in my opinion, especially at his prime, to deal with. He's just absolute asinine. But Still have 10 seconds or so to go, so AOD actually going to lock that one in. So we're going to see our first Bard of the tournament, and the first Bard in competitive play in a pretty long time.
Yeah, a lot of firsts coming out for Wind and Rain. If you're looking at the style that they're going for, the Ashe coming through, I mean, not completely out of the way, but the Echo and the Bard are definitely picks that we haven't seen at the top tier in quite a while. So this is something Wind and Rain are obviously bringing out that suits their style incredibly well. And actually looking at that top lane as well, I see a cheeky change to summoner spells, going for the Exhaust and the Ignite as well in the top lane, but he's just baiting me.
Yeah, he's got to be baiting you, man. There's no way he would go with that unless he took Summoner Spellbook, and then you could write it fairly quickly. But last pick of the day will be that Rise, who will be going over to Tivity into that mid lane. And looking at both sides now, both teams kind of got a lot of damage, but at the same time, I don't really know who comes out of this on top. I feel like War definitely gave up some power picks in favor of others, but whether or not MnM Gaming can make them work is a different story.
Yeah, I think it's going to be incredibly... So what they're looking to do on the side of War is what we've seen countless times from a lot of these teams is the 1-3-1. And by picking up the Rise, they are able to answer to a certain extent. But the damage that Godbro will be able to put down on this Echo is going to be monumental as we push towards, you know, getting those 2 to 3 items. And the roaming potential as well that comes down from that pick is quite dangerous. So when you're looking at this squad, it can be quite tough, particularly when you're looking at the immobile Varus in the backline. Jokerism will have to be worried. Yes, he will have Camillus on that Tahm Kench to keep him safe, but it can be quite difficult. It becomes a game of cat and mouse where it's, do you end up taking up the Varus to try and save him as the Tahm Kench and catch the Echo off guard, or does Echo just hold on so that Devourer is down and then they can really pounce and make sure that they're able to shut down this Varus?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But ladies and gentlemen, for the final time tonight, let us know who you think will be coming out with this win. Is it a WAR win or a MnM win? Put it down in the comments or join the conversation on Twitter with hashtag ESL Prem. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know who you think is coming in, and let us know your best memes. I find Twitch chat and Twitter to be like some of the greatest places to like just find the most obscurest of memes ever.
Yeah, I am appreciating the Twix ones though. I've seen quite a few of that, and I know what's happened now. So I
don't,
like
and I just feel like I just feel bad for Enclave, and I'm just like, this is Twix thing going on, and I don't know what's going on with them. But you know what? Whoever wants the Twix, I hope they get it. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we won't have too many pauses in this one here, and hopefully this will be as interesting a game as the last. I'm excited for this, and I want to see some pretty big plays coming out from both these sides.
I think we're in for a little bit of a slower game this time around, though, without as much hype. I don't want to say, but it's going to be much slower, particularly if Wind and Rain, looking at the style of composition that they have coming through. They don't have the same explosiveness that we saw in the last few games, coming especially from the junglers. You don't have that Sejuani with the big ultimate get engaged, the Jarvan with the Cataclysm, the Galio coming down. Instead, they've got a much more secure, very easy, not easy to execute, but a much more straightforward execution where it's, we want this 1-3-1, we have the Nunu, and we've also got the Bard to use as disengage for the Ashe as she pushes through. So we're not going to see the same crazy engages or big team fights if Wind and Rain are the ones to get their advantages. Instead, it'll be if MnM are able to secure that early victory in those stages of the game and proceed on towards the later stages, that we can maybe look for Sejuani jumping in, getting the big ultimate off, the big Varus ultimate coming down. But outside of that, I think it's going to be a much more cool, calm and collected game than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more calculated moves, a lot more kind of, you know, 4D chess-esque kind of setups as such, as both sides look for their advantages. And ladies and gentlemen, again, we do apologize for the delay. There is a pause at the start of the game. Want to make sure all teams are ready and set up to go and bring us their best game they possibly can. And again, we do apologize for these delays. Hopefully it won't be too long, and hopefully it won't be too frequent, because they're really, really annoying.
I mean, I think we've had one every single game so far. I
wouldn't doubt it. Like, not even slightly. But looking at these games so far, we've had a taste for pretty much every team apart from the two that are coming up to it for us right now. Who's looking like your winners right now? Who are the teams, or rather, better question, who are the 6 teams from today that you're thinking they're going to make playoffs? They're the ones who are going to make it into, like, you know, the top 3 of each group.
I find that incredibly difficult to answer. I mean, I'm
found
I'm
all my
copping out.
questions.
Okay, I'm copying out. I'm copying out. This is it. Don't judge me. I copped out. But I think overall, it'll actually be dependent on this outcome of how I see MnM step up to the plate here. We were putting the question marks forward. We were saying we didn't know how they were going to react. And now they've got, as we we're saying, a much more standard team composition and one that we're used to seeing. It fits the meta. It should fit the style that they want to play, but it's how do they execute? And when you're looking across on the side of Wind and Rain, they aren't going for your standard picks. This is something that they have in their back pocket. They don't want either one because they have maybe a different style that they like to play, but also because they don't want to show a huge amount as they go into the early stages of the tournament, arguably against the team that they probably see as one of the weaker ones as well. So I think if MnM are able to step up to the plate here, if they're able to go toe-to-toe with them and play against these weird picks because they know how to execute correctly on their comp, well then I definitely have to take it back and reevaluate what I'm looking at. But at the moment, and the way things stood, the way they played the qualifiers, I'm still judging MnM quite a bit off of that, and I don't see them putting into that top 6 point. But I think as well, no org didn't really have the best game there today. Either they were trying to match Excel but couldn't really find a stranglehold, or sorry, any kind of hold into the game, or really just strangled out. So I'd put these as the two that really have to make sure that they're stepping up more in their gameplay, fixing the holes that we've already discussed, and ensuring that they can progress onwards and be in those top 6 scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. But a little bit of a Twitterverse or Twitter sphere as such coming in here. Jake Hammond at Jake_Hammond said, imagine banning the Zilean but not banning the Bard. How could you make such an amateur mistake? I would definitely never do anything like that. That's a big call. That's a big, like, you know, pump up for this Bard. I'm excited.
I think it's just because they're so out of left field as well that it's like, do you know what? I mean, we have seen some Zilean come out in the NA. Like, who he has played it, we've seen a little bit, but Bard is something that I really wasn't expecting to see this tournament. And I play Bard. I love Bard, so I'm excited to see what AOD can do now that he has his hands on this champ.
Yeah, like Jake Hammond, you've hyped us up. You've hyped up everybody. This is going to be one of the best Bard games we've ever seen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not now, you can.
Has changed
yeah, one tweet has changed the entire perspective of this entire game. But I will say this as well, though, that it is a situation of. You know, if it doesn't be a massive play, if it's this crazy bad pick, you know who to blame. You know, if you're a Wind and Rain fan and Jake Hammond pulled this like massive, you know, hype up, who do you blame? Of course you blame Jake Hammond. That's just how it is. That's just how Twitter works. But, ladies and gentlemen, enough of the memes, enough of Twitter. We are onto the Rift for the final time tonight. It is going to be Wind and Rain versus MnM. Let's have a good match and let's see some crazy plays. Come on, Bard.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with the ults. That's always the fun part of Bard, where it's like you can play godlike in the early stages of the game, but you whiff one ulti and everyone is on to you straight away. It's so funny to see, and I want to see if he can actually land them, because that's what separates the good Bards from the spectacular Bards.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just the plain bad Bards like myself, you know, just
Me
completely.
too. It's okay.
Yeah,
we're in this together.
I always find him so annoying. It's like, I can play him, and then I go into game and I'm just like, I've hit nothing and died 8 times.
The worst thing is where he gets the weird, you know, wobbly cues that end, like the stuns that come through, where it's like, that did not make sense to hit that minion at all, and then you're dead, and it just feels bad.
Yeah, I know, but I think the worst thing is when you go off for your chimes and you completely leave your AD carry alone, and then all of a sudden it's just an ally has been slain. You're like, oh no, that's not what I wanted at all. But we'll have to see now. AOD, he has been hyped up to be the best Bard player in potentially in the Premiership. So let's see if it lives up to that stature that he's been set up for. As we see Dan now going for a pretty typical new clear, and hopefully I kind of want to see him go for maybe an early dragon, maybe go for some kind of crazy play early on, just to see if he can actually, you know, put the pressure down.
Yeah, I think the pressure is actually going to come from the jungle invade. If you look at where Echo just moved to, place that ward in the blue buff, which now means they know that's what Sejuani's route's going to be. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Echo just run straight into the enemy jungle here, try and gobble up the Gromp for himself, then move back into his own jungle as well. And that means he's already going to be up a couple of camps. Especially when Sejuani's clear isn't the healthiest, he should be able to pick up a little bit of farm for himself.
I'll have to wait and see it. And just looking at Impaler there, I had a quick look at the Masters, and I say I mean the admins who are giving me all the information. He has gone with Fleet Footwork, and then very LCKS coming out from the ex-LCS mid or ex-LCS jungler.
Yeah, it does help quite a lot. So not too surprised to see that picked up, particularly when you're going to be looking towards a Nunu as well. You just want that little bit of extra sustain. Oh, Nunu, don't do this to me already.
Yeah, I told you, early dragons, this is why you pick the Nunu. He can now just consume. He's got enough for the smite. There it is, and he's going to be totally fine. Nobody around him, and that's why you pick Nunu. And there's the recall. Yeah. Nunu.
And it's in an Infernal as well. That just feels off. Oh my. Rift.
Damn, Rift. That was uncalled for there. Steadfast presence gave only Angel a real false sense of security, and Rift just completely, he sends him to heaven. Like, he's gone back. Like, that's where he's gone.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see with this Poppy pick. You picked it into the Camille, and now you've given across the first blood. I mean, you've got to play the safe for... Oh, Impaler actually might be caught out, but it actually is just going to be turned around. Godbro and Tivity going tip for top in the mid lane.
Yeah, AOD did use the Magical Journey to try and join that fight. A little bit of pressure now favored for War. Now you have to try and go for something a little... They don't have to go for anything crazy. They're in the first 4 minutes, so already got themselves a 200 gold lead and the Dragon. And the Infernal Drake being first is such a huge thing for them as well. Just absolute crazy scaling with them, and it just gives them a nice buff in these lanes.
Yeah, and something as well to look at is that AOD is enabled a lot by the bot lane picks for MnM, because Tam, Kench and Varus, until they hit that level 6 point, are never really going to be able to collapse on Maddie. He's got the slows, shouldn't really be in range ever to get hit by the tongue lash because he's got that volley, but so he should be safe to go visit other lanes. But looks like Dan is trying to get involved and just be a pain for Impaler, and that is exactly what he's doing right now. Will stop the backs as well to make it all the more painful.
Nunu won't kill you for a very long time, but he will just make your life absolute hell. As he just tries to keep going for this one, and has full vision control along that river, pretty much along to the bot side, so knows exactly where everyone else is. No roam coming out from Tivity, excuse me, right now, but MnM, they're already feeling a little bit of pressure, already seeing the kind of work that can come out from a Nunu. And MnM, they've got to find something. They've got to try and make sure that this Varus gets his, Gwynzoos and get some armor pen onto him. Otherwise, they're going to find this game very long and very hard.
I think the biggest issue that this bot lane is going to face is towards that level 6 point, particularly if they can get Godbro on these roams. And right now that's what they're trying to enable by setting up all this vision control. Not only does it lend itself towards Dan going for those aggressive invades and ensuring that Impaler can't influence the map, but it also means that Godbro is free to try and make these plays. Looking at the level 6 for Ashe and for the Bard as well, they should be able even to make this life a living hell for these guys on the bottom side.
Only Angel's living that hell right now, and actually the kill onto him. Rift owning this top side, 10 CS and 2 kills, no teleport to come into a crashing wave either, which means Impaler has to go soak up that. And it's already not looking good for the side of MnM. They really need something to go their way, and picking a Poppy who would traditionally counter the Camille, just having the steadfast presence, definitely not helping them right now.
No, and it also means Nunu is gobbling up everything in Impaler's jungle as well. There's going to be nothing left for her when she returns back from the lane. And this top lane pressure that's coming down just means there's no pressure now on Wind and Rain to do anything else around the map. It just means they can let Rift continue to scale up. He will be that split push pressure. They've got plenty of wave clear coming through from Maddie as well. He'll have that Runans, I'm assuming, as well coming through. And that means they're fine. They're all in good shape. This is exactly what Rift was needed to do. And it's executing so well.
Come Coming up to the 7-minute mark, and we're already seeing 1,000 gold lead, and that can only really get bigger from here, especially with the way that the side of War have been playing. We'll have to wait and see exactly what goes down, exactly how everybody plays out. And it's not over for MnM either, but it's definitely not been made easier by this Camille, who just has so much pressure in this top side.
Yeah, she's still continuing to put this pressure down. Only Angel just returning to lane and already taking a beating from the Camille as well. We're waiting for that ultimate to come off again before she tries to make much happen. But look at this. Again, Nunu is going in, stealing away this red camp, and just because of how delayed Impaler was on that top side to protect the turret, it means he's free to do this. And this is not going well for MnM at all.
No, and just getting someone like the Camille to be able to just push you out so handily with the Sheen, with the Runas. We see now Dan gonna use his ultimate. Only Angel just about keeping himself alive as well. There's just constant delays, constant CS being lost, constant gold just going down the drain for the side of MnM and that top side. And even though they're not doing badly in the bot side, it's not a better story either.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the advantage through the CS. The only lane that's realistically behind is the mid lane right now. But that's the way the lane should be playing out at the moment. So Echo is still going to be in good shape as we continue forward. Dragon spawning in just 30 seconds. And I don't really know how they're supposed to put pressure on this and stop Nunu from gobbling that one up as well. See, Sejuani is trying to hold on to see if she can keep that pressure down. Maybe make a play in the bottom lane before it all kicks off. Level 6 was just hit by Jokerism, which was why we can see the call coming down, but AOD sniffing it out means he's going to back away.
Another Drake coming up in 13 seconds. You would imagine that Dan, now that he has a couple of items on him, will feel that he's well in position to be able to take that as well. AOD just going to back away, keep himself, you know, getting some decent items onto him, keep himself healthy, keep himself in a position to roam up, especially with those mobility boots. Should be able to do plenty with that. But as we said, biggest problem right now for MnM is that massive hole in the top side. Camille getting to a point of no return, and it's going to take a very long time if you know, at all, if MnM want to get back into this game, especially with the Camille just split pushing constantly.
Yeah, the only criticism I have of Wind and Rain right now is that they could be using the control that Rift offers and also the invade that Dan has been getting off to get some vision control in the topside jungle, just so they know where Sejuani is and shut down Impaler even more. But to be honest, outside of that, they've already really snuffed out a lot of what Impaler wants to do and stamped it out. So this is why we can see Rift, with once he spots Impaler down on this bottom side of the map, shoving in heavily towards this tier 2 tower, forcing Only Angel to back once again, and maybe he might get caught out himself.
Yeah, just going to be backed away, taken down to just above half, and they have, as you said, they have full control over where he's going. He's falling a little bit behind ever so slightly every single time, and that's got to be very tilting for the side of this Sejuani. As we say, oh, gonna get onto Worm Warp. There is a flash burn because of the Tempered Faith. That means Rise already out of ideas now, as we see Tam Kench maybe looking for something, doesn't hit the Tongue Lash, and has to back away. And while this is all happening, while Bard is making those moves into the mid lane, the Ashe is as safe as a house and isn't being caught out by anything.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they want to play this. We're talking how they need that level 6 to engage, but if she's playing so far back, it doesn't make a difference. Now you've got Rifty joining in the mix.
Ooh, nearly hitting the Enchanted Crystalline Arrow as they go in. There's the Ignite coming down. AOD picking up a kill for himself. Now the teleport going to come in from the Poppy as the Varus ult hit. They're going to go golden for Dan, as now Camille is the target of choice. They're going to try and maybe go for this. There's the ultimate there for the Camille. Trying to turn back in onto Thrifty. Tivity almost goes down, but will he die? Yes, he will, but so will Rift. Didn't need to flash in for that, as now we see Matty on the wrong side of this fight. Needs to get himself back. Good stun there from the backside from Bard. Keeps Varus out of the fight, but in the end of the day, it ends up being a 2 for 2, equal for both sides. MnM feeling a little bit better for themselves.
Yeah, Wind and Rain went very deep for that kill, and it ends up costing them dearly. the TP was still available for Only Angel, and yes, you have Camille already there to try and help out, but Only Angel is behind when he's in the 1v1. Poppy still offers a huge amount in these teamfight scenarios, especially with one so messy. You can see people leaping about all over the place, trying to finish off kills, and even Maddie trying to tank up the tower for Rift, but wasn't quite there. Sloppy kind of across the board, but it is MnM who come out in the victory, and that's why Wind and Rain don't really want to be going into these fights like that. They want to try and make sure they can take a pick, back away for the Drake, go for maybe trying to set up this 1-3-1 scenario that will do them so well. But right now, AOD and Godbro are hovering in the bush, trying to see if they can get their hands on Tivity.
Oh, here we go. They're going to try to get something off of him. He does not have his flash, does not have his hourglass active either. The rest of MnM come in, though, to escort him out. And while that's all happening, Dan doing what Nunu does best and taking the dragon by himself.
And this is just Wind and Rain spreading MnM thin across the map. Again, Rift is back in the top lane trying to shove in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Rift push this in, then transfer to the bottom lane. There's no objective there for Wind and Rain right now, which means he can go and look for that tier 1 tower instead of overextending slightly for the top lane turret. It also means that they can look towards Ashe and for the Bard to make their way towards the Rift Herald and start to crack open this mid lane turret as well. But realistically, Wind and Rain have all the cards in their hands right now, and they can deal them whatever way they want.
3,000 gold lead definitely gives you a nice lead, especially when most of that is in that top side. You see Triforce almost finished up there for Rift as well. Dragons are stacking. Pressure is mounting. MnM, they need to make a play. They need to have something happen for them right now. Otherwise, they're just going to crumble and fall.
They are making sure this mid lane tower crumbles right now, though. Tivity is forced to back away. The Tankage ult is used to try and keep it alive.
Yeah, here we go. There's the Sejuani ult. Nice Tempered Fate keeps Tivity out of this fight. Godbro taking a couple of turret hits. Still has the ultimate available to him. Not going to be too huge of a commit in there for either side, as both teams just reset, reevaluate, and look to see what they can get out of this.
Yeah, but this is the thing. They're steadily encroaching their vision control into that top lane. Rifty actually needs to be careful, though. There's two members there, and they don't really have pressure elsewhere on the map. He does back up a little bit, but still needs to be careful of an encroaching Impaler.
Only Angel is not having the best of times right now. Did pick up a kill, so he is a little bit better off than what he was, but once that Triforce and what you would imagine would be a Ravenous Hydra finished up for Rift, it's just not going to be a fun time pretty much until super, super late game. And it's just really not a fun time for him right now at all.
I am just waiting for Rift to finish off that Triforce, and then this game becomes so different. Angel cannot hope to stay underneath these towers. Has the Bami Cinder complete, has the Tabbies, but that's not going to save you against the damage that this Camille can do in such super effective range, and just so fast as well. It's impossible nearly to stop. And how do you try and hold this off when you're nearly, like, it's nearly 40 CS down for this guy, and I don't know what he's supposed to do.
Have to see. He'll have to figure it out. If you don't know and I don't know, hopefully he does, because right now it looks like it's going to be an attempt on the steal of the blue buff. Impaler gonna be stunned up along with Tamkench on the bot side. Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna be a pretty good one. Varus comes in, then Matty goes golden. That's gonna be a good chain of corruption, able to hit off with Jokerism in a lot of trouble. Force the flash and heal out of this fight. Tivity now in trouble as well. Looks like War are the ones in control of this fight. Godbro goes ham, but he's not quite able to get what he needs. Tempered Fate misses completely, as Impaler does have to back away. The 4v4 looks to be going in favor of War, and it looks like they will be able to back out of this without losing anybody.
I'm not sure why they're contesting for a blue buff, though. If they can force these guys away from that mid lane turret and then try and pressure that, or even as they're trying to hand off the blue, pressure on towards Rift Herald, this would work so much better even for their composition. Instead, they're going for these messy plays in areas that they really shouldn't be, and it's giving MnM opportunities to come back into this game. It's not how Wind and Rain want to play this, but they keep opting for it time and time again.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
See, now they do get what they kind of came for, which was control of that bot side. Turret does go down. 16 minutes into the game, we're seeing a 4,000 gold lead, and Wind and Rain, they're not out of the woods just yet. Yes, they've had a good start. Yes, they've been able to make things happen, but like you just said, it kind of out of nowhere engages, long extended fights, they will benefit the likes of someone like Varus or Rise, and that's not something you really want to have happen to you in this game. It's definitely something that Wind and Rain will look to try and cancel out as soon as they see it happening.
This is the thing, look at the CC that comes through on Wind and Rain. You've got maybe the Echo Stun, and you've got the Bard ult and the Bard Stun, but that's it. And when you look at everything else that's coming through on the other side, you've got Camilla Stun, normal, whoever ends up on the bad side of town for, say, Godbro's stun that's coming through. You've got a stun from Only Angel, you've got a stun from Impaler, you've got more coming through from Tivity. CC is the champion in team fights, and when you don't have enough of it to deal with everything MnM is throwing at you, then just avoid it. There's no reason to go into this. Start to play to your strengths, where it's skirmishes, it's where it's this split pushing style, and look towards objectives like the Rift Herald that play into those hands.
Looks like Wind and Rain have heard you. So now look for the Rift Herald. Dragon up in 45 seconds means that is most likely also going to be on the cards. But while this is all happening, a tier 2 is going to fall as Rift picks himself up that one, and that's just more gold into the pockets of Wind and Rain. Mid turret not long for this world either. This could be a very long game for MnM if they're not really making proactive plays. This one ult doesn't hit. Nice Tempered Fate to disengage as well. That's just all that's going to happen right now. Dragon up in 16 seconds. You would imagine that the side of Wind and Rain will look towards that after they get the Rift.
Yeah, they just secure the Rift for themselves. So more than likely the play that's coming through, which is why we're seeing Rifts transition towards the mid, is get this turret down, throw down the Rift Herald in this mid lane, and then back up towards that Drake after they've taken the mid lane turret. There are multiple members of MnM here though, so this could dissuade them from going for the play, but right now Dan is just going to tank up this turret so they can try and continue to push on.
Wind and Rain finally breaking up that one as well, as we see Tivity sitting on a ward, trying to look for something, trying to see if he can use his ultimate to push into that mid lane, maybe catch someone off guard, but was not to be, as Only Angel now going head to head with Rift, and Rift will pretty much easily win this every single time, but he also needs to not get hit by that skill shot.
It's not going to make a massive difference in the grand scheme of things though. They've just got the dragon for themselves. You can see they're taking that on the map. They've taken down the top lane pressure as well, looking for that Baron. So all they're looking to do right now is get the waves pushed in towards the base of MnM so they have time to reset, get the vision control around this Baron objective. And as well, when you've got the Nunu, when you've got this Ashe as well, like they're going to tear through this incredibly quickly.
The Ashe and the Camille will be able to do so much with the burst damage that you have at your disposal from the Echo is just crazy. Like you said, the Nunu being able to increase attack speed as well for pretty much anybody on the side of War, apart from Bard, will be absolutely huge for them coming into these if this game does go late. But the way it is right now, I don't see it going much later than 35 minutes.
Yeah, we can see that they're trying to just secure the vision right now, and I'd like to see them push in towards. I've been saying it time and time again, Godbro needs to be pushing a side wave. He is looking to get the Scuttle Crab for himself now to ensure that he's got a little bit of extra control in that area before he makes his way up to go toe-to-toe with Tivity in the top lane. Tivity has realised that he's going to need to deal with this Echo, swapping over to the exhaust as well, which means that the burst potential is now essentially nullified, and he can try and 1v1 Godbro if he goes too far underneath the turret.
AOD misses the stun. Gonna force him to back away. Magical gateway is now gone. Again, pause and reset. There's no real pressure coming out from MnM. They're the ones under the pressure. They're the ones who can't really just wait for this game to go super late. Double pink ward.
Oh, nobody saw it. Don't do that.
What does it mean? What does it mean? That's the most interesting.
Things are in your future.
Yeah. It's like the most interesting thing to happen in this game the last 5 minutes. As I say that though, Impaler. Yeah, looks like he may be able to turn this, but too much slows coming out. Means that Echo is pretty damn healthy, and mid lane is pretty even. Top lane's about 3,000. Rifty does get dropped into that bot side, so it looks like the side of war. They want to go for this inhibitor. They want to know where the inhibitor is. Poppy will find herself in a bit of trouble as it comes in. There's the Rift Herald, but they won't be able to knock down that turret. They didn't have pressure in the top side, didn't quite have the minion wave pushed up into the mid lane, and that's going to be a pretty easy takedown. But damage is still damage.
Yeah, they're trying to juke them around the map right now. Put pressure on that bot lane turret, draw them down there. Now putting the pressure on the top means that Camille can walk back down and crack open the base just as a beginning. Now you're going to see Wind and Rain starting to move back towards, well, should see them moving back towards the Baron, but instead they're going to be backing instead, which I don't like in this situation, because they should be trying to get a lot of vision control up in that area. But actually, as I say that, they have none there. There's no wards in their pockets either, so trying to make sure that they're able to fall back towards this objective as Camille starts to push up towards that inhib.
MnM, they don't look like they have a prayer for them right now. They're trying to establish vision, trying to see if they can get something back onto this. Activity, despite doing fairly decently, despite going relatively even in the lane, is still not able to do as much damage as he needs to right now. The Lich Bane and the Hex. Oh no, the Varus gets caught. We're going to see the cleanse immediately from Matt, and that's going to be a great Tempered Fate, as that's just going to be so much damage coming down as well. Only Angel does not use the ultimate, and that's going to be Jokerism going golden, but for how long until he sees Grey? And this is War fully in control, fully in command, and that's going to be a Baron.
Yeah, they're going to make their way towards that right now, and with 3 members of MnM down, there is no hope of them trying to push them off. Tivity and Only Angel do not have the damage, do not have the poke to keep them at bay. They're going to try and desperately get the minions even back in their favor before the rest of War decide to push in. It's the only hope that they have right now to try and hold against this.
Baron goes down, fairly easy pickup there from the side of Wind and Rain, and you would imagine the ultimate fight, or the last stand, will be coming out from the side of MnM as the minions will start to push into this mid and top turrets. They'll take the outers, then they'll look for the inhibitors, and then they'll most likely look for the counter engage.
Yeah, this unfortunately was the way that this was always going to go. When Wind and Rain got to this stage, they got too much pressure coming through with Rift and with Godbro, and there's no one really on the side of MnM that can jump fast enough all between these different points, particularly with Only Angel so far behind this Camille. 3, 1, and 2, 235 CS. Has that Jorm's Fist as well, just to add that little bit of extra tankiness to her kit, which is just so obnoxious in this scenario. She's pushing towards, she's going for the inhib while they're TPing for the engage.
They're looking for it. They do catch onto the Ashe. That's going to be a 1-for-none trade. Nunu and Echo were not there. Good proactive play, but what do they lose because of it? They'll lose an inhibitor. They'll lose a tier 2. And honestly, right now, Dan just has to play keep away. He doesn't have to do anything. The minion wave is pushed up super far into that mid lane, and Camille is there as well. That could be the Varus going down if they're not careful. Echo will end up being kept alive as Rift just decimates people right now. Dan comes in after being devoured. There's the ultimate to just knock him away. Impaler just about survives, but Tam Kench will not be as lucky. And while all that's happening, you have Godbro coming up into the mid lane, just pushing in the towers. This is such a desperate call from MnM. It's just not working out.
And it was 4v5, and still MnM are left scrambling to run away from Wind and Rain. They get the inhib, they get the top lane tier 2, they get the mid lane tier 2, and no inhib is safe from Wind and Rain right now. They are pushing directly through the base.
TP from Matty and a TP from Godbro means they're able to push this in. Minion waves are in their favor. So much Baron buff left as well. Only Angel goes in. This is the final stand. He does have a lot of damage on the Matty, but it's a great stun onto the backside. Means that Rise will go down. Camille will pick up a double, maybe a triple if they can really push for it. There it is. And that's going to be 3 kills unanswered. 4 kills, excuse me, unanswered in favor of Wind and Rain. They take down all inhibs. They take down every turret, and they are going to take the win.
And we put up the question marks at the start of this game. Can MnM play up to the standard of Wind and Rain? 2 solo kills from Rift in the early game.